pumpkin pie day. She got me this when I was getting married. Here's her sweet little inscription from 1979 to Linda. May you have a lifetime of happy cooking. Oh, and I have had. And every time I look at this, I just remember her. The pages are dog-eared and tabs are falling apart, but what a sweet tradition. And this is a great recipe. You're going to want to remember that anytime you bake a pie that is going to be filled with a custard type filling, you're going to do the crust first. It's called blind baking. You're going to bake it with nothing in it. And to do that, you have to dock the pie. And that means taking a fork and making little holes all over the sides and bottom so that it doesn't pop up during baking. And then you're going to weight it down with some pie weight. So I've cut a piece of wax paper that'll fit just right in the bottom of my pie shell. And I don't buy pie weights because I'm cheap, and I always have a bag of something in my pantry that I've used for pie weights, and I just keep it. This is some old cracked corn. Now you can also use any kind of dried beans, pinto beans or whatever. You just put them in the bottom of your pie shell like that. And then when you're done baking, you just pick up the wax paper, put them back in a baggie, and then you have those from now on. You will not be able to cook those to eat them again because they'll be kind of like, they'll have a roasty flavor. Well, I don't know, that might be good, but anyway, no, you just use them for pie weights from here on out. But that'll hold your pie crust down, and it'll make sure you have this lovely crust when you're finished. We're just gonna start with 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. You can also use all-purpose flour, and if you're going to use flour, which is what my mom always used, it's 1/3 cup. You're going to add a really good Hershey's cocoa or any Dutch processed cocoa, 3 to 4 tablespoons depending on how chocolatey you like it, and 1 cup of sugar. You're going to need a little bit of salt, about, let me see, what does it say? 1/4 of a teaspoon. Oop, better put some of that back. You don't want too much salt, but you do have to have a little bit. Even in sweet things, you've got to have salt. So you're going to want to mix all those things together really, really well in the bottom of a heavy saucepan. Then you're going to gradually stir in 2 cups of milk. You kind of want to go slow because the cocoa doesn't really like to mix very well, and if you're not careful, it'll kind of just clump up on top. So use a good whisk. Slowly add in your milk, and then turn on your heat. You're going to want a medium-high heat to start. I'm just going to keep stirring this. You don't want to walk far away from your stove anytime you're doing any kind of a custard. You want to just keep swirling this around, making sure it doesn't stick on the bottom or in the corners. And I really like this kind of a little whisk, y'all. See these little tines on there? That gets way down in the corners of your pan. Sometimes if you just use a regular whisk, the very bottom of your pan at the very corner, sometimes the round shape of a whisk, it'll leave a little bit of your ingredients, and they'll actually scorch a little bit. Hi. I'm too tall to be in the frame all the time, but that's okay. All y'all care about is the pie, really. It's this wonderful, wonderful old-timey chocolate pie. Okay, so you're just going to keep going until it starts to bubble. And then once it does, you're going to keep stirring for about 2 minutes. Now you can see this is starting to get a little thick. And about then, we're going to take it off our heat. So that's off the heat. And then we're going to add our 3 beaten eggs to that mixture. But now you know you can't take egg yolks. It's the egg yolks, only the yolks, not the whites. You can't add that directly to a hot liquid because then you'll have scrambled eggs. So we have to do what's called tempering our our eggs. And you do that by taking a little bit of the hot liquid and you put it in your egg mixture and stir it. What you're gradually doing is raising the temperature of the eggs so that you can put it in with the custard, and that will actually thicken it quite a bit more. Those egg yolks are wonderful for richness and for thickening. So we're going to do this over and over, maybe 3 or 4 times, just to raise that temperature up. And my eggs were room temp to start out with anyway, not right from the fridge. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to go back to our flame. Y'all see that okay? And then put our eggs back in. Just whisk real slowly, getting all that all incorporated. And then we're gonna turn the heat back on, probably a medium. It doesn't need to be medium high this time. And then we want to cook that for about another 2 minutes. Oh my goodness, this is already starting to smell so good. This is my childhood, you guys. This was my sister Emily's favorite pie. My mom would always fix this, of course, like most mothers do. Our special requested cake for our birthday, and many years Emily would request chocolate pie. She loved it, and so did my sweet little dad. He loved chocolate pie. Okay, just gonna keep stirring that. See, look how nice and thick that's getting. When you stop stirring for just a minute, you'll see these big volcanic bubbles puff up and pop. That's the way you want her. See, look, you can see the swirls from your whisk. It's a nice, good texture to have. And when you get it just about like that, okay, off the heat, you need a really, really good vanilla. I don't usually even measure, but at least a teaspoon. And you do that off the heat, because if you do that while you're cooking, you know, vanilla is mostly alcohol. You'll just cook all of that right out. And then you add a couple of tablespoons of really good butter. This will make it really glossy, glistening, and really rich. So good. As I told y'all before, bitter batter makes better butter. So I'm going to use probably a half a stick. There we go. Oh my goodness. This is just the best. Now, as I told you guys, I used Hershey's cocoa. You can also use squares of unsweetened baking chocolate. But my mama always used cocoa, so that's what we're doing today. Okay, here's our little pie shell once it's out of the oven. You just pick up all the little corners of your wax paper, and then your little beans or rice or whatever. You just dump it in a bowl, put that back in a little Ziploc baggie, and you'll be ready to go for the next time you need pie weights. Now we're going to take our chocolate custard right into the pie shell. Oh, you guys, look at that, how creamy and wonderful that is. Oh, is that beautiful? Mm. Gotta lick the spoon. Mm. Mm. Yes. Now on to the meringue. Now I'm not going to spend a lot of time on showing you guys how to make meringue, because I bet you already know. I'm not even going to get out my big KitchenAid right now. You can use a little hand mixer, but do use a balloon whisk if you have one, because that definitely will help you get more air into your egg whites, and it gives you more volume. Also, start your egg whites from room temperature. If you're doing whipped cream, you want that icy, icy cold, but eggs always do better for meringue if they are room temperature. So we're gonna use those 3 egg whites from the yolks that we used for our custard. Another tip you have to be aware of is you cannot have 1 speck of egg yolk in your whites. You can't have a speck of butter in your bowl, any grease or anything, because then your meringues will not fluff up properly. If you have a little cream of tartar added, you don't need much, just like 1/4 of a teaspoon. It will help, but if you don't have it, it's not a big deal at all. So now right at the very end, when you've got these nice thick peaks, you're gonna wanna add about 2 tablespoons of sugar for every egg white. So I have 3 egg whites, that's 6 tablespoons of sugar, and you're gonna go back and get your wonderful vanilla. You need probably about a teaspoon of vanilla. And we're just gonna mix that all up again and plop it on the top of the pie. So here we go. Put that nice, fluffy, sweet, cloudy meringue on the top. And what you want to do is go all the way around to the edges of your pie crust. Seal it. You want it to kind of go down in each of your little points of your pie crust there. These eggs, I'm sorry y'all, they did not fluff up as much as I wanted them to. These are not really good country farm eggs. I was desperate. I ran up to Walgreens and got eggs. Mistake. Anyway, they will taste delicious, but they just didn't quite give me the volume I was hoping for. They were little bitty, puny looking white eggs. Anyway, make some little points, because the more points you have, the more little crunch you'll have when this goes in your oven. And I put it in at about 375, and I like mine pretty golden. Some people just want a little bitty bit of brown, but I like mine pretty golden. And then this is what Bonnie used to do too. She'd sprinkle a little bit of granulated sugar around the top. It just gives it a little more element of glistening loveliness. And then in the oven she goes. Pretty. That's so pretty. Okay guys, while that's in the oven and I'm cleaning up, I just want to remind you, this is a very versatile recipe. This is the same pie that you would use, the same process and ingredients if you wanted to make a vanilla cream pie, coconut cream pie, oh, those are wonderful, butterscotch cream pie, banana cream pie, any custard-based pie would be exactly the same thing. You just omit the chocolate and you use other flavorings. This would even be the same process you would use for lemon meringue pie. And oh my goodness, I have a ton of Meyer lemons on my tree. I need to do that for you guys too. So good. Stay tuned. Oh, you guys, look at that pretty little thing. Oh my goodness. Oh, lovely. Here we go. Let me take you over there so you can see. Okay, that meringue is a little bit of a dud, but I guarantee you, even if it's not a mile high, it's gonna taste fabulous.
And here she is, ready to serve. You guys, good home cooking is sure good for what ails ya. Here it is for you all written out. If you want to pause that and copy it, here's the way Bonnie taught me to do it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a happy new year. And remember, even though things seem like they're all upside down, there is a plan. It's going to be okay. Get out there and do good and be good. God bless.